Continuation to the lecture of Python, we are going to learn if-else statement. The if-else statement is used to create programs that can make decisions. So let's start with if statement next. The syntax of if statement is if boolean expression and colon. What this boolean expression means that it's the actual value of what expression that you're going to write, and that's going to be a true or either a true or a false. If the boolean expression evaluates to true, the body of if statement is going to execute. But if the value of boolean expression evaluates to false, the body of if statement is skipped. In Python, indentation is used to define a block of code. The body of if statement is also determined through indentation. Let's start with a simple example. Suppose we have a number name variable which is having a raw data of 5, and now we are going to check if this number is greater than 5 or not. So if number is greater than 0, print number is positive. Print this is always executed. So look here, is if number is greater than 0, then below that there is an indentation of 2 tab space or 4 simple space. It's a method used. Suppose when we use C language, we use curly braces to put everything in that if block or any function block. So similarly to Python, we use indentation method to put everything inside of that if statement or any program which is of a special function. So similarly, the number is 5 which is greater than 0, so 2 output is going to be printed. One is number is positive and this is always executed. Look, the statement of print this is always executed is written out of the indentation block, that's why is always going to be executed. So here's an example 2 in which number is equal to -1. Similarly, this is going to be false, so number is positive, this is always executed because number is less than 0 which is not a positive number, that's why number is positive, not gonna execute. When the boolean expression is true, so the first case was the case in which number was true. Next case was the case in which number was less than 0, which is going to be the output of false. That's why the first case in which the true expression was occurred, the block of if statement runs. Then after, if the second statement in which if statement was false, the number is positive, never executed. Next coming up is if else statement. The if else statement can have an option else clause. So suppose if you want to do this, then do this, but if you don't want to do this, do this statement. So for doing this statement, which is going to be occurring after if statement, we use as else block. So the program evaluates the boolean expression. If the boolean expression evaluates to true, the body of if statement is executed. But if the boolean expression evaluates to false, then the body of else statement is going to be executed. Look here example, if number is greater than equals to 0, print positive or 0, or print the body of if statement is executed. Then if this is not true, then print negative number and the body of else is executed. So number was 3 which is a positive, that's why the positive or 0 or the body of if is executed. Similarly, if the number would be less than 0, then the else block number is going to be executed. So here you can see the output of negative number and the body of else is executed. When the boolean expression is true and when the boolean expression is false, similar to the if statement, the if else statement also works the same way. There is also a case where you use multiple if statements. So for resolving that case, multiple if statement, you can use elif for writing multiple if statement in a single set of sequences. So the if else statement allows us to make a choice from 2 options. If you need to make a choice from more than 2 options, you can use elif part in the if else statement. Its syntax is if boolean expression 1 statement, elif boolean expression 2 statement, and else the statements. So this is just, you can say, the replace version of else statement, if statement, in which you can use elif statement again and again. There can be 0 or more elif part. By the way, elif short for else if. There you can see the example of elif. Here we have assigned number is equals to 0.0. If number is greater than 0.0, print positive number. Elif 0 is equal to num, print 0, else print negative number. So here you can see number is 0.0, which is equal to 0. So we will see the output of 0. Nested if else statement. So suppose if this condition is true, then you have to satisfy this condition also. So this condition which is coming after the first statement of if statement is true, which means we are going to have condition inside of condition. So that case of condition is known as a nested if else condition. We can have an if else statement inside another if else statement. This is called nesting in computer programming. Let's create a program that checks whether a number is positive, negative or 0, similar like the previous example. However, we'll use nested if else to solve this program. Num, which is going to be a float number of input. Enter a number. You entered a number, suppose first 5. So what we are going to do in this if statement is we check if number is greater than equal to 0. So 5 is equal to greater than 0. So then after we execute another if statement, which is if number is equal to 0, which is a 5 and not equal to 0, else print positive number. So we have executed first statement in which first if was true, second if was false because this number was not equal to 0, then else statement block runs and we get the output of positive number. Else if in the first case, if number is greater than or equal to was false, will be false, then we will get the output of on negative number. Similarly, if we put number less than 0, and if the number is 0, then we use two if else statement, and two if statements are going to be executed, so we'll get the output of 0. So you can make a simple calculator from this if else statement. Before we wrap up this lesson, let's create a program that can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication and division based on the input from the user. So what operation do you want? So there is an operation that is a user going to do. So first of all, he need to specify an operator. So input, enter either plus, minus, addition, subtraction, multiplication or divide, whether you want to put. So suppose we have stored one number n1, take the input, and n2 another input. So if the operator is equal to plus, then we will use the output of n1 plus n2. Elif operator is negative, n1 minus n2. Elif operator is star, will get the output of n1 star n2. Elif operator is dividend operator, will use the n1 upon n2. Else, if we do not put any operator like plus, minus, star or slash, the user is going to get an output of invalid operator. We can also use this in a looping condition, through which we'll use loop condition, but that's the topic of another lecture. So this was all in the making simple calculation. Make sure to finish all those lessons, thereby you'll be having a complete guide for this Python for beginners. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.